Hey, Addy here with Remax Active. Wanted to have a quick conversation in regards to something that I came across. I was chatting with an agent yesterday that was looking for some help on one other properties where they had an agreement in place, but it was only a verbal agreement. So let me give you a little bit of background. The agreement was done between the purchaser and seller to purchase the property with the condition of inspection and financing. Financing was approved, inspection got completed, and there was one item that needed to be done, and the agents agreed that the work will be done, and they just sent in the waiver. And now once you have sent in the waiver, the other party is under no legal obligation, the word is legal obligation, to actually get that work completed. So come closing time, they're making a phone call, hey, that item, so in this case it was a window that needs to be replaced, hasn't been done yet. Are you planning on doing it? The agent turned around, the listing agent turned around and said, well, we are not going to be doing it, and the only option you have is to buy that property as is, in which case the buyer would be actually taking a hit for it. So in order to avoid this situation, what should you do? Make sure anytime you're doing an inspection and there's work that has to be done, do not send in a waiver and then send in an amendment. You lose all of your power. As soon as you send in the waiver, they can accept it, and then their amendment they can reject. Don't forget, they have the option of accepting or rejecting an amendment. A waiver is in their favor, so they will always accept it. They could also reject the waiver and let the condition pass away, and the agreement becomes null and void. But that's a different situation. Another thing that this happened to me personally, where an agent sent me a waiver and made an amendment on the waiver. So what they did is they came in and said, you know what, the windows are really, really old in the building and we want to get a credit of $20,000. We weren't agreeing to it. But then I said, well, send me the paperwork. Let me go to my seller and have a conversation with them. They send me a waiver in which they're removing the condition, and in the bottom of it, they're putting a note saying the seller agrees to reduce their price by $22,000. Well, we went ahead and accepted it. I sent it off to a lawyer for a second opinion and asked them to take a look at it, and what did they think? Well, the waiver document is actually used for waiving the condition that it's on it. So, and you're waiving it. You're not fulfilling it. You're waiving it. Having anything else listed on it does not mean, and it doesn't mean that that is part of the agreement. So if they wanted to have the price reduced, they had to do an amendment. Now, again, this never went into litigation, and we were able to get $22,000 for our seller. This never went into litigation, but having the wrong form over there does put pressure on them to perform to the legal understanding. So they had to give us the credit, and we were able to get $22,000 more from the buyer on this one. So the point is, make sure you're using the right form, number one. Number two, whatever you're discussing between the buyer and the seller, make sure it is on paper. And number three, don't use the wrong form. So use the right form. So if you're really waiving a condition, waive a condition. If you would like to have some amendments done, please make sure you use an amendment and waive your conditions inside the amendment. Use the delete and insert function to do those. Enjoy your real estate business, and happy selling. We'll talk soon.